Welcome to Friends at Gameology, hosted by MoonlightCrew.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less. I'm sitting up as straight as I can so I can be seen over this box, which eclipses the noonday sun. So Star Trek Fleet Captains is a 4X game with just so much stuff. You have your miniatures, you got the Klingons, the Federation, you have cloaking, you have fighting, you have modifications, you have these modifiers to your shields and your engines, you have clicks. These guys are like the hero clicks type where they change their system ratings and their power levels based on their clicks. You have your ships, you're solving missions, you're doing combat missions and influence missions and science missions, and you've got your deck of cards made up of several different types. I've got the battleship deck and the science of war deck as the Klingons. I could have as easily chosen or added the House of Moog or the House of Doris deck. When we were talking earlier just a second ago about what type of game this is, in mechanics ways, Molly said it's Star Trek mechanics. Like that's what it is. This is Star Trek. It's all about exploring and flipping over these locations, seeing what's underneath. Can you establish outposts? Can you fight the enemy? Can you cloak and move through? Will you get caught in a wormhole or a black hole? There's encounters that can happen at any turn, and Star Trek Fleet Captains, simplicity versus complexity.
Okay, we didn't even touch on this game, right? You're moving around trying to complete missions because that's what you're trying to do, get the most victory points. So the simple way of this game is moving around to complete missions, right? The missions are different varieties because the Federation and the Klingons are after different things in actual Star Trek, right? So it's very, very complex. There's a lot going on because that's the simple aspect of it. But how do I move? How do I have an encounter? How do I have combat? How do I move away from the Klingons? How do I cloak? How do I decloak? How do I play my cards? How do I do these things? And that's just a few of them. So it's really complex. And so I would say this is a pretty complex. There's just pretty complex game. Sorry, let me finish my sentences before I move on. With a lot of pieces, a lot of things going on.
There are 31 pages in this rule book, and it is so complicated. You can do cloaking actions, combat actions, influence actions, reinforcements actions, repair actions, scan actions, transporter actions, systems test, move each ship in your fleet, make a power adjustment, play command card, cycle a mission card, discard a command card. And I'm just saying anything without the details right now. It's so complex. This is not a light game. Luck versus strategy.
This game is there's a lot of strategy. To me, I think there's a lot of luck too. If you get missions that you can complete right away or that you've already completed, you just get those points. Oh, I explored 3 regions? Yeah, I get a victory point. But if you don't get those, you have to cycle through. But there is a lot of strategy in what ships you choose to move where. Just because of all the moving pieces, there's just a lot of strategy. You get to change this dial every turn, right? So do you want to move fast now? Do you want to have high defense now? Do you want to have high combat? Do you want to do a systems test, right? So I think you have a lot of control over mitigating that luck that you do have.
So I think there is a lot of strategy in this game, but the luck is gigantic. The luck factor is huge because when you go onto a new, here's a black hole. I didn't know that was there. When you go onto a new, when you explore a new hex, it could be a black hole. It could as easily be an emission nebula, and it says encounter 1. You roll a die. If you roll a 1, you have an encounter. Well, a lot of times when I'm moving, I do not want to roll an encounter. And I roll it, and I have to stop. And once you have an encounter, you have to stop. And then the encounter comes up, and it says, your ship is destroyed in 3 turns. So if in 3 turns you can't figure this out, dead. And man, that luck will just really tank a game. I mean, we played the other day just with teams, and somebody got stuck in the black hole, somebody got stuck with an encounter, and my partner and I, as the Klingons, just walked in and mopped them up. And it was just, they couldn't do anything about it. So a lot of fun strategy here, but the luck, you have to be aware of what you are getting into. This game has a lot of randomness.
If you choose not to move as fast, you can scan.
That's true. You can scan things. There's a way to mitigate it, but I mean,
you only have so few actions to do that with. So it's like, do I want to scan it or do I want to take my chances?
That's all part of the strategy and all part of the luck. It all comes together. Like I said, there's a lot of strategy, a lot of luck. Fun versus boring. This game is fun. However, I like this game. I like the Star Trek universe. I like Star Trek, and I think this is a great theme, and I think it's implemented well. And I've found that this game tends to be a blowout. And it's often, so when we've played just a small game of one-on-one, because this is a 2 or 4 player game out of the box, there are other expansions that can expand the number of players. the Federation tends to win because the Klingons can't reach the Federation in time to blow them up, which tends to be their style of play. When we played a lot bigger game with 4 players the other day, the Klingons destroyed because there was so many points we had to get to that by the time we reached the other side to kill the other ships, they hadn't won the game yet, and that was what they needed to do because once we reached them, it was over. And each time being a blowout kind of makes it not as fun. Like, you can't do what you want to do. Like, in a small game, I'm the Klingons, I can't go fight. In a big game, the Federation can't go explore because they're just getting mopped up by the Klingons. So while there's a lot of fun here, that blowout, you really have to know when you play what you're getting into.
I love the theme of this game. It is very thematic. The Federation wants to encounter and wants to do science. I love that. I love that you get to pick the deck that says sensor upgrade, main engineering, and of course the first picture I see is Scott, right? Scotty, yeah, Montgomery Scott. You get Picard deck. You can get the Captain Kirk deck. I just love that theme, and it's really thematic in what the Federation wants to do, and then also what the Klingons want to do. The Klingons want to fight. The Federation sometimes wants to fight, but usually they want to do science or do these encounters and things and have influence. So I love that part of it. Bgg ratings, though, I would give it lower. I would give it a 6 because of the complexity of this game.
Yeah, for me, just because I don't want to play it so much, I'd give it a 5. I just don't want to pull it out. The complexity, teaching people, and the luck factor brings it down for me.
Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube because we give away free glitter paintings.
And it could be you that wins.
Star Trek Fleet Captains, we've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.